Hi, my name is Chris Best, and I left my 25-year corporate career to ride motorcycles and tell stories. And one of the first stops I made about 4 or 5 years ago when I started this adventure as a job and quit my real job was here, Strokers, Dallas, and I came for my friend Rick Fairless' birthday party. But we're back several years later, and we're getting a one-on-one VIP tour of Strokers, Dallas, place you definitely got to check out whether you live in Texas or not. That's where we start this episode of the Biker Dad TV show, so let's roll.
I used to write for some different magazines. For 20-something years, I wrote for magazines. You know, American Iron Magazine was one, and then I wrote for an industry publication called Motorcycle Power Sports News, and it was a good outlet, but you know, now magazines are pretty much a thing of the past. But I wrote differently. So this is Working with Family is for Suckers, and see I'm wearing a tutu. I did that just to amuse my daughter. But the way I did the magazine articles for probably the last 10 years that I wrote, the articles were a letter to my mom in heaven. So they started out as Dear Mom, and then I would catch Mom up on everything that's happening in the industry, in the bar industry, in the motorcycle, and you know, and strokers and all that. Family room. So this is me and my attorney. We're 11 months apart. My brother, when we graduated high school, he went to the Army, came home, he said, I'm gonna go to A&M and be a doctor. He went to Texas A&M for 4 years, came back and he said, I don't want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer. So he went to the University of Houston Law School and never came home. He said, I'm gonna go for 4 years, or 6 years or whatever it was, and he never came home. Still in Houston.
You got a British bike in here.
This is my office. It's where I do the daily podcast. It's called In My Life, the 365 Project. So I was first going to do it for a month, and then I decided I'd try to do it for a year. I'm on year number 3, almost done with year number 3. Wow. 10-minute show. We talk about the 60s and the 70s and the way things used to be. CHUMP studio. I got a Dallas Cowboy helmet signed by all the players from the 90s. So Deion Sanders signed it in the middle of the star, and the S for Sanders is the money sign. Basketball, you see who the basketball is signed by?
Larry Bird.
Larry Bird. We had season tickets to the Mavericks forever, me and my dad, and that was our favorite player, you know, to watch when he came to town was Larry Bird. He was incredible. That's the cool thing. And I haven't ever met Larry Bird. I bought that at an auction for children. I bought that. So the 61 Triumph TR6 trophy was my dad's, and he left it with me, and then I'll give it to my daughter someday. I pull it out about once a year, crank it up, ride it around for 30 minutes, and then park it back in here. So that's like a family heirloom. That's why I keep it in here. You know, I own probably 30-something bikes, and if I had to get rid of them, that would be the last one to go. So we talked about Alice, so here's a carving thing I had done of Alice, and then this is Alice. Isn't that cool, the way it's 3D and it's carved in there and all that? Yeah, well, I actually did that bike when Alice was still alive.
That's what I was going to ask.
But, you know, I like the tie-dye colors, you know, or the psychedelic colors, the bright colors. Problem is the tie-dye colors and all that sometimes has a different meaning than what it is that I use it for. So, you know, there's always, you know, I'll post a picture of one of my bikes and it'll have hundreds of comments, and 99% of them are, oh, beautiful bike, I love your bike. And then 1% of them are, you know, homophobic slurs, and, you know, when they say ugly things like that. You know what I do? I hit block, delete. It's stupid. I promise you, the hippies were using those colors long before anybody else was. So here's a bike we're building.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, this one is at that stage where it's getting close to being done as far as building it. And then we still got some wiring to do and a few things, and then it'll all come apart to be painted and chromed and that kind of thing.
What's this bike for? Are you building it for somebody?
It's for a customer, yeah. He's
And-
going to paint it up to the theme America for the band, you know, horse with no name
yeah.
and all that. That's the way he wants us to paint it.
So it looks like you hear the term bike builder, and a lot of people are builders are just bolting parts onto a frame. This looks
Right.
like this is all, a lot of this is handmade.
This is all handmade stuff.
And I mean, the swing arm is really cool.
Yeah,
It's different.
well, the frame is proprietary to me. You know, we do a couple of different versions of that frame.
It's like a horseshoe frame, or how do you describe that?
Just a tubed frame. That's a 6-inch tubed frame. And then I have another one that's a 4-inch tube.
And what kind of engine is this?
TP, Total Performance. The guy that owns TP is one of my hamster buddies, and I believe he makes a great, S&S is great too, but S&S doesn't offer a polished motor anymore, but my friend Tom Perrone at TP still does, so.
Did it come etched like this, or did you guys do that?
No, we did that.
Very cool. And it looks like handmade handlebars.
Oh yeah, the exhaust, the handlebars, the frame.
This gas tank is crazy.
Yeah, it's the gas tank, oil tank, battery, but there's obviously a divider here between the gas tank and the oil tank because this part will get hot. You don't want that rubbing there, so there's like 2 dividers there.
And how do you get to the battery, like through here?
Yeah, you got to take the rear wheel off to get to the battery.
That's convenient.
Here's an FXR that we're stretching for a guy. We're building a complete ground up.
FXRs are some of the coolest bikes that they've ever made.
This
That's
guy's
awesome.
tall, and he bought an old FXR, so we put a gooseneck on it. You can see we've completely redone everything. It had that square tubing, that ugly square tubing on there.
Well, that's interesting that a tall guy would buy an FXR to like just completely rebuild it instead of buying a bike that fits in the way it is. That's awesome.
This guy's serious on his bikes.
Cool.
So this is Sharon. So this is the bike we're building for me. Sharon is my mom. And so this is a tribute to my mom.
Oh, very cool.
But see, it's a different use of the colors. We put it in like a zebra or a tiger stripe kind of design. So I got a panhead stroker motor. It's at the polisher now. And once that comes back, we'll build the exhaust. And this is the first bike in 30 years that the paint's been done first. Usually we're waiting on the paint, not on this one.
Yeah, it must be tough to be building it around that beautiful paint and
So
not worry about.
this bike has a concession to my age. So here's the picture. So that's my screensaver. So that's my mom
Nice.
when she was 15, and so we had it. You know.
Very cool. That's awesome. I love that idea. And
So it's my concession to age. I've got a front brake and suspension. I'm 69. I want some suspension now.
and this is a handmade frame. This isn't like a
everything's hand done.
kind of looks like a Sportster tank maybe, but
yeah,
not
chopper
a Sportster.
tank.
Yeah.
So
Very
we
cool.
work on anything American made, mainly Harleys, but also Big Dog, Iron Horse, some Indians. So these are bikes that are waiting on parts or paint or something. Close that door, please, Lynn. Fab Shop is in there. He's working on, we do this cool double rail swing arm that is proprietary to me that we do here, and he's making one for the FXR this week.
That's awesome.
But see, that's the thing is when we do something like that, it'll take a week to make that swing arm. Well, you start figuring up the hours on the swing arm, that's a hell of an expensive swing arm.
And then you do it on the tank and the fenders and
Exactly.
everything else when you're